Welcome to the Not Superheroes Gets Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be presents for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I am Sean Laurie, and today, guys, today I tell you guys this every time, right? That I'm excited about who we have, but y'all don't understand how long I've been trying to get this man. This man, he does it all, man. And my boy Will, man, and all the way from, well, no, now he's in Georgia, but you're originally from what, St. Louis?
Bro, so originally from St. Louis, moved to a city outside of Chicago called Rockford, then moved to LA where we met, and now in Atlanta.
Man, this dude be everywhere, man. But before we dive into it though, man, I like to always do like a icebreaker, right?
Okay.
So, um, I know your oldest daughter, she's finished at school now. Is your youngest in like daycare or preschool, or she's chilling or
Yeah.
what?
Yep, she just finished. I guess you would consider it pre-K before pre-K or whatever, however they do it.
Oh
Next
yes,
year
yes.
she'll be in
My
pre-K.
Yeah, my son did something like it was, well, at least out here in Texas, it's called like a early child development school or
Sure.
something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Something like that. So, but they literally have like a regular school schedule and everything. I don't know if it's like that for
Same
y'all.
thing. Yep.
Same thing. Okay, so
Uh
then
huh.
my question is for you, what is what is the I guess the most exciting thing you have planned, I guess, for the summer, because your girls will be out, right?
Okay. Yep.
So what's something you want, whatever it is, what's something exciting you're looking forward to? And then the second thing is, what adjustment do you need to make with them being home, with them not being in
Oh.
school?
Oh man, that's a great question, man. So what we're looking forward to, we're actually going to be going visiting Los Angeles this weekend. Well, not this weekend, but coming up soon. We're going to be visiting Los Angeles. Going to be there for probably close to a week and a half, and man,
Oh,
we're
that's
really looking forward to getting out there and visiting family and getting back on the beach a little bit. So that'll be great. And then we are considering a trip to Florida, probably do Disney um, as
that's
well this
dope.
year. And then if I'll slide this in here, me and wifey, we will be going to the DR, Dominican Republic, in August. So you
Really?
said adjustments. That's going to be an adjustment because they will not be coming with us then, and we are still to
Mm.
this day putting together putting together a plan for that trip to make it work. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, man.
That's dope, man. That's something that, especially at least for me, and maybe I don't know about for you guys. For me, like, so wifey, when we do trips, man, wifey's like, "Hey, cool, I'm out." For me, I be feeling bad, like, dang, I miss my kids. I don't know, like, are they
Yep.
good? You know what I mean? Like, I'll be the one, and it's funny because when they were like small, I wasn't tripping on it. But
Mm,
now as they got a little bit older, I'd be more so like, okay, are they, especially my youngest daughter, she'd be over here, Dad, are you leaving? Like, when you
yep.
coming back?
Yep.
So I'm like, you're feeling
Yep.
bad.
Bro, look, man, that's
Feeling bad.
story of my life, bro, for real.
Yeah, man. But today, y'all, I wanted us to really dive into something that I feel like will be amazing on speaking on, and that's just more so, bro, on pivoting, right?
Yep.
Like pivoting in life as fathers, as men, because like you said, when we first met, bro, you was doing your thing. You was. I'm pretty sure you was single at the time. Um,
Whew. Yeah.
you was doing music. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You was just chilling, bro. You was vibing. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Mhm.
excuse me. And like you say, I think too at the time you told me like, oh man, I was in Chicago, right?
Mhm.
And you
Yep.
left, and you
Yep.
was in Cali. I was like, oh shoot. And then even I think we even moved. I moved to Texas. You moved to Georgia, but even around the same time. And so, how
Mhm.
did you? I guess the first thing is I'll ask, bro, is like, how did you come up with that decision? Or no, let's take it back even further. What made you be comfortable being able to, because that's hard for, like, when I tell people I moved to Texas, they be freaking out at times like, man, how was you able to do it? Now, it was just you at the time, but still, you went St. Louis, Chicago, Cali, then from Cali to Georgia. And when you went to Cali to Georgia, you had that family where it wasn't just you. So, one, how were you able to have that? I guess that mental strength in a sense to be able to pivot without freaking out, and then how were you able to make that adjustment for your family to move to Georgia?
Yeah, man. So how was I able to pivot? I'll be remiss if I didn't say it this way, and this is truly all it was. Um, I felt that God was calling me to do it, and because He was calling me to do it, I felt like He was going to call me through it. And I know that sounds spiritual, that sounds very churchy, but that's really all it was, man. Because, when I moved from Chicago, Rockford, Illinois to Los Angeles, man, I don't know if I shared the story with you, but I actually didn't. I never visited California until I moved there. I
Really?
did everything through Google. I looked for my
Wow.
apartment through Google. I looked at I'm literally not kidding, bro. Google Maps was like my best friend because I was trying to like figure out how far it would be from LA. Okay, great. Like the whole thing, man. And I drove out there in a 2004 Grand Am on 3 good tires, bro. And I only had 3 months of rent. I only had 3 months of rent. Like it was one of those things where it was like, if it don't work out, what's the worst that can happen? I can move back home. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
I I really felt like God was calling me to go there, and it felt deeper than just like, oh yeah, this will be cool. It really felt like God was like, you're gonna go there, and what I'm calling you to do there is going to spark the rest of your life. And little old me
wow.
thought it was for music, right? Like I thought I was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
out there to get in the industry. I was gonna meet Kendrick Lamar, and he was
yeah.
gonna sign me, and Jay-Z was gonna spot, all this stuff. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
this whole plan, man, and I won't go
You was
too
gonna be
old
in a
school.
Not Like Us remix, bro.
Not like us, man. I produced it. No, I didn't. Let me stop saying that. I did not produce it. Before y'all get in my comments. Nah, man. But not to extend the point too much, but it was really easy because I knew that, again, if God was calling me to do it, He was going to call me through it. So when it came time for us to decide to move to Georgia, to Atlanta, it was the same thing, man. Like it was one of those things
Mm,
where it was like, now at this time, to your point, you kind of called out. When I moved to LA, I was single. I didn't have any. When I moved from LA to Atlanta, I had a whole family, right? I had a wife, I had two
yeah.
kids, and it wasn't just Will just moving out here. Um, the interesting part was that it was actually not my decision. Like I did not want to
Wow.
leave Atlanta. I'm sorry, leave LA to go to Atlanta originally.
Okay.
Um, it came up. My wife was like joking about it, and then one thing led to another. Man, we came out here, we visited her family, and we started looking at house prices. And if you know anything about you know how much house prices are in LA. And
Yeah.
we just started to
Yeah.
do the math, and the math wasn't mathing for us for us to stay in
Yeah.
Cali. Um, but it was, you know, and stop me if I'm going too far, but I will
No,
just
no,
say
no.
that to answer your question head on, each time that I pivoted, I made sure to like spend a ton of time with God to like make sure that it was the right move. Like, are you really telling me to do this, or is this just my fleshly desire? Because I don't want to
Mm,
be caught up somewhere where then I got to move back to the place because you never called me to this place. So let
yeah.
me just spend some time with you now before we start before we start to make these moves. So uh, yeah, man. Hope that answers your question.
That's dope, bro. No. So then what is, because like you said that adjustment period when, well, wasn't that difficult for you even though you resisted because you have had to move a few times. But
Yep.
so what was the adjustment then for you being that father, and is there still adjustment? Yeah, is there still adjustments you're making right now currently with as you're growing in this fatherhood, as you're growing in this space, right? Because we're constantly growing. Because I look at it from me, bro. I remember one day, I just kind of looked at it like, dang, when did I become a father with 4 kids and married? Like, it felt like it was overnight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Almost in a sense. And I know for me, I had to change the way I viewed things too,
Yeah.
because it took me a while to adjust. Because either A, I was operating like I was single, or I
Yeah.
was operating as far as my kids should already understand, or my kids should already know how to do this, or you know what I mean? And I didn't have the patience,
Yep.
especially with girls, as you know, having girls. Like,
Oh, for sure.
um, I had to approach it way differently than with my. And then even when I had my son, I'm like, oh, maybe I can kind of approach it the same way with my youngest daughter. I'm like, no, I can't. Like, it's not gonna work, right?
Yep.
So, um, what was that for you, bro? Like, change it from that single mindset, man. Okay, man, I love, or even just me and my girl. Like, man, this is me and my girl. We can kind of do what we want. To having a family and having 2 girls, and even obviously, even though they're younger, they both have different personalities. So you have to be able to adjust to which one. I know you shared with me even beforehand, like, you like, hey man, I'm about to do this episode, and your beautiful daughter was like, no, 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 dad, hey, time out,
Yeah.
time out. This is my time right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how were you able to adjust that?
Yeah. Um, man, as you said that, like the first thing that comes to mind is the adjustment that I had to make was understanding that the decisions that um, the decisions that I make aren't just for Will. Like these decisions will impact my wife, these decisions will impact my kids, and it will impact their their futures as well, right? And like really sitting down and like understanding that, by God calling the man to lead the household, and we all know this all too well, like that was that was an adjustment, if I'm being honest, right? Like that was an
Yeah.
adjustment that, when I got up and moved to LA, man, like I said, I jumped in a Grand Dam, bro, and was out. I said bye to my mom, and I was gone.
Mm,
This was an adjustment. I had to strategically think about, all right, how we're gonna move this uh, furniture from this city to this city. Um, how are we going to, pack our car? Are we gonna ship our car? Like all these different things. Where like, if it was just me, wouldn't care about any of that. I would just, well, I wouldn't say that. It would be easier, I will say.
it'd be easy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
You
that's
don't
the
even
mindset.
necessarily have to look for work right away. You just have money saved and be gone. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. Well, it was a blessing that I'm still with the same company that I've been with for the last,
That's dope.
5 years. We actually have a satellite office here, but we mostly work remote. That's a whole nother story. But
That's dope.
so that was easier. But man, the adjustment, I guess, to put it into a big bubble with a little bow on top. The adjustment was more so understanding again that my decisions that God is calling me to make impacts an entire generation, right? And that sounds like, all right, bro, that's too much. Like but it's real. Like
Yeah.
if I move my family here and things happen here, like what would have happened if I moved them here, right? Like and I think about my grandfather. He talks about all the time how he had to do the same for my mom and my aunts and my uncles, and how he just went out on faith and did what he did. And if it wasn't for him, man, he wouldn't. This is how deep it is for me. If my grandfather hadn't moved from in his story Detroit to St. Louis, my mom wouldn't have met my dad, and I wouldn't have been here.
Mm,
So when we talk about like
wow.
the adjustments that need to be made, like it's that deep, right? Like
Yeah.
there's creation that comes based on the moves that you're making.
No, that's real, bro. It's the domino effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's the domino effect, and I forgot who it was. I think my boy Jason. Shout out to Jason, but he always would say this too. Like a man will have his own plan. Every man has a plan for their family, right?
yep,
And it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. They're gonna do their plan that they feel is best fit for their family, and not everyone's gonna understand that. And so you just
yeah,
saying that, made me even think more. Like you said, the domino effect, because we don't know it. We just more so thinking, oh wait, why you moving to Georgia, right?
right,
why are you going to California? Whatever the case is, it's that really understanding, hey, you know what, this is actually bigger than you.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
This is
absolutely,
bigger than
bro.
you. But no, I want to ask you too, like, where did this perspective come from? At least from what I see, just from um, social media, things like that, where I see with your family, like it's a beautiful thing, and you're very conscious of recording those moments, like capturing those moments.
Yeah.
What got you in that place, bro, where you like you understand that, right? You understand, like, man, this is a precious moment, and like you're not even necessarily doing it for social media. You're doing it more so like this is a moment I want to keep for myself forever. Like, what got you to start doing that? Which is dope. Like, I love that you do that. But what got you to start doing that?
Yeah, man. If I'm being honest with you, selfishly, like I, so my wife is, I guess, what you would call a mom influencer. Um,
Hmm.
she, her whole giddy up is on social media, so she posts a ton of stuff with our kids, etc. And that's like her. That's legit, like her, how she makes her living, in a lot of
That's
ways.
dope.
So for me, I think it came. I posted one video, and I didn't think anything of it, but someone came up to me in person and was like, "Man, what you posted, bro, is something that, and not only inspired me, but like more. Um, there needs to be more content on the internet that shows uh, what it is like to be." Uh, I think he said a successful father, or something along the lines of just like showing what it looks like to be a man and be a father, and all those
Mm,
all those things. So as I started
yeah.
thinking about it, I'm like, you're right, man. Like, I be scrolling, and there's a few folks online that kind of do their thing
Yeah.
as well, but like you, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it actually it did something to me when he said that, because he's right. Like, when we look in media in general, like, um, unfortunately, it feels like the father is being taken out of the picture more times than not. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes some may argue like that's reality for a lot of the folks that are growing up in this new generation. Like, you know, the father may not necessarily be around, which is a whole nother conversation. That's why I do mentorship. That's why I kind of do that piece. But it did show me, like, hey, if I'm able to spark uh, inspiration into someone that may be a father at some point, and he can go back to my page and see, like, hey, this is like the model, and this is what I should be striving for, at least as a starting place. And not saying like I'm the best father, but just like, if it gives any sort of inspiration, like, it's important enough for me to like post it, right? Like, again, selfishly, I probably wouldn't mind keeping it all myself, but
Yeah.
knowing, like, okay, if we got breath and we have the means to do this, all right, let's do it, right? Like, let's show the
Mm.
world what this looks like. So
That's dope, bro. And actually, what you saying too, because that actually highlights the reason why this podcast is even here and why I'm trying to do, not even trying, the things I'm going to do in the future, why that's going to start taking place is like what you just highlighted, right? It's like you said, like a lot of times I do feel like the father's being pushed out in certain instance. I'm not saying in fact like it happens in people's family dynamic. I understand that, but I'm saying overall, like social media, things like that. And that's why I'm thankful to have people like you hop on, to be to highlight all these different amazing fathers because so many times I feel like that's not being talked about, that's not being highlighted. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So what you said, bro, is dope, and I love that. That's one of your reasons. I know you have other reasons too, but one of your reasons why you do what you do, man. And so, um, back to what I was asking, just on different
yeah,
things, pivoting, changing, things like that. So, I wanted to ask you because you are very talented. I've heard you, do music. I've even seen I think one of your shows before too. So I know how talented you are, and I want to ask you: one, was it hard for you to pivot from that because you did it for so long? And then two, how are you still, even though you're not necessarily doing that, how are you still incorporating that aspect in your life? Because even though you're not doing shows, I see you talking at different platforms. I see you going to, I think it's classrooms or whatever. You're talking to crowds of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how are you able to utilize that now, bro?
Yeah, man. It's funny you said you asked me this question because I was recently speaking to a crowd, and one of the questions that someone asked me was just that, um, like was it hard giving up what I thought my dream was to like do what God is ultimately calling me to do. And you know what, man? Like, again, I hate to. Actually, I don't hate to be this way, but I don't want it to feel like super spiritual. But like
Yeah.
that's just who we are, right? So,
Yeah, facts,
um,
bro.
man, I was sitting at a kitchen table, and I remember specifically asking God, "Do you still want me to do music?" Something along those lines, right? Like, is
Yeah.
music what you want from my life? Because what was happening was it felt like I was being successful, like I was doing different things, but like I kid you not, it felt like every time I was like right there, something would happen. Like the goalpost would move even further. Like I'll meet
Mm.
someone that's like, super. Like I've met a ton of people. I won't even start name dropping, but I met a ton of people and like situations looked very promising where it was like, oh, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here, and the goalposts just continue to move. So I had to ask God, like, God, is this what you want me to do? And
Mm.
here's what I realized. I realized that sometimes God will call you to do certain things in a season to get you to the next season where He asks you to do something different. And
Mm.
that's what I feel very strongly happened to me, right? Like I shared, I moved to Los Angeles in a lot of reasons, or for a lot of reasons that had to do with me going into the music industry, right? At least that's what I thought. Little did I know that God was leading me to this place to get into tech. He was leading me in this place to meet my wife, right? Like He was leading me into this place for all these different things that had little to do with what I thought He was calling me to do. Um, but it was the obedience and knowing that He absolutely told me to move. And in that moment when He told me to, all right, give this up for a season, right? So that I could put something else in your hand, being okay with His plan and like continuing to go. So I guess in a lot of ways, and hopefully this is answering your question, but um, I I have peace in knowing that like, hey, like if He ever wanted me to pick back up the mic, um, let me say this: I had peace in knowing that if He wanted me to pick back up the mic to do music or do something with the mic, that He would make it overwhelmingly clear. What I didn't know was He was going to put the mic back in my hand, but I was going to be speaking my story to different crowds and different individuals. I had no idea that that was going to be like the pivot, right? That He
Yeah.
was going to do. And who knows? Like 2 years from now, who knows what the next pivot may look like? But I think it's just the obedience and knowing like every season is can look different, but it's also important to just know like, is this the season that God is calling me to do this, so that we
Mm.
not delayed? Because, bro, I can't say it enough. I'm not trying to be 55 years old and finally figure out what God was trying to tell me when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
I want to, like, if you tell me to do it now, I'm going to listen and I'm going to jump on it. So,
I like that. So then, I mean, well, no, I'll ask this question. So when you ask God, hey, should I continue doing music? And He was saying, hey, right now, you know, I have something else for this season for you.
yeah.
Did you automatically accept that, or did
No.
you resist it? Because that could be a scary thing, right? Because your whole time you're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, there's a lot of us fathers, men that's listening right now or watching right now, and they're saying, man, you know what? This is no. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing this, but it keeps seeming like, well, no, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, right? But like, it's hard. It's hard when I guess when you have this thought where you think this is where you're supposed to be, like in my mind, I'm supposed to be A, but then it's like everything else is telling you, nah, you're actually supposed to be doing E, Q, R, S, right?
Right.
You're like, no, 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 but it's A. It's only A.
Right.
So how were you able to, or were you able just to accept it right away? Like, how are you able? Because for so long, that even kind of becomes part of your identity, right?
Yeah.
So I'll speak for myself. Where I mean, you know this too, bro. Where especially at Relevant too, like I was focused more so on helping the kids,
Yes.
right? I had a whole brand, a Dreamers Ambition, which I'm thankful for. I was doing that. It was
I still
growing. It
got
was
my
doing
hoodie
very
upstairs, by
well,
the way.
huh?
I still got my hoodie upstairs right now.
Oh, yes, see, look at that, right? And so I was really focused on that, and that became part of my identity, and I resisted it when God was like, no, you know what, like, you need to be focusing on parents. Actually, let's narrow it down. Not even parents, fathers, right? And this is what I really want you to do and really make an impact on that. That was hard for me, bro, because I'm like, for so long, no, the youth, youth. And then God, like, helped put it together for me where He's like, guess what? If you're helping fathers, if fathers are all coming together, it's going to trickle down to the kids. Because as men of the household, right, we are the foundation, right? So that all had to come down, trickle down for me, right? So I say all that, I mean, is to ask you, how were you able to accept that? And if not, like, how were you able to, I guess, to figure that out? Because at least for me, I think about like, man, that could be a scary thing where so long you're thinking is this. I mean, heck, you went to a whole nother state. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you like, I believe in myself so much. I believe in my talent. And again, I'm not saying this, y'all, just to gas him up. Like, he's very talented in what he does. So, I can understand you thinking like, this is what I'm going to be doing. So how, I know I just asked a bunch of loaded questions, but yeah.
Yeah. No, man, this is such a fantastic question. Um, Honestly, I love this so much because at times you, like, at least for me, I just progress through life, and sometimes I don't have these conversations out loud. So to
Yeah.
like be able to hear the question and be able to reflect back is therapy, bro. So I appreciate this platform to do it. Um, so to answer your question, like to be completely transparent, um, I did not need, like, it wasn't clear to me at first. Like, I asked the question, but it wasn't clear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when we typically say, like, hey, I'm going to ask God, and God will tell me what I should do, sometimes people think that it's like a loud, thundering noise, and God comes meet me at the table, and He's like, nah, it's not that, man. What I've
Yeah.
learned is that it's typically, it comes through different whispers, right? Like different things that actually like get you to understand, like, okay, God, I feel you. I hear what you're saying now. Like, it's loud and clear. But to make it like completely transparent, um I wrestled with it, man. I wrestled with it, and it was because it wasn't like the answer and then here's what I want you to do. It was like, here's the answer and just continue on. And for me, it was like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean continue on? And I can even think back, man. Like, I feel like I was wrestling so much that like I kept trying to like dip my toe back into it. Like, I kept trying to, like, I have a whole. It's gonna sound crazy. I have a whole mixtape, bro, that is produced, ready, like artwork,
Mm.
the whole plan, the rollout, everything, man. And I remember when I tried to put it out, my grandfather passed away, and it like it kind of stopped all the plans of like what I was trying to do, but I never
Yeah.
went back to it. And I think
Mm.
and not saying like him passing away was the reason why I stopped doing music
Yeah.
per se, but I did realize like, okay, things keep happening again where the goalpost continues to feel like it's moving, and maybe
Yeah.
this is God saying that this is not something He want me to do right now. So again, and I know I'm extending my answer. The answer is it was very difficult. I did not um, I did not hop on what He was trying to tell me to do right away because I didn't know what it was going to be replaced with, which made it harder. But what I did
Mm.
do was believe, like, okay, let me just keep moving. And as I was moving, man, like, things just started to, like, it's funny because it felt like it was putting things in my life that was taking my attention away from music, if that makes sense. Where it was like
Yeah.
tech just fell into my lap, mentorship fell into my lap, and all these different
Mm.
things where it was like, okay, I actually love to do this stuff. Um, and slowly but surely, man, uh, he showed me my new way. So,
Mm.
yeah, hopefully that answers your question, though.
No, no, that's dope, bro. That's dope. So when you look back now at, like you said, the different, I guess, pivoting, as we've been talking about, the different changes, different shifts, right? What would you say? And maybe that's the answer there. But what would you say was the biggest, as of right now? What would you say was the biggest, or most challenging thing you had to pivot from?
In regards to music specifically, or just
No, no, just so as far as, yeah, where you at now, I'm talking about from, it could be from moving, maybe even getting married,
okay, I
maybe
see.
the kids,
Yep.
maybe music, just like in general, where you, again, it was one of those things where you were like, this is where I thought I was going to go, or this is what I thought was going to happen, and it was completely different, and I was actually fighting against it, but
Yeah.
then as time passed, I realized, oh no, it was actually for the betterment of my good. You know what I mean? Betterment of
Right.
my family.
Right. 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 Man, that's a hard one. I think honestly, maybe most recently it was moving from L.A., Cali to Atlanta. Really, it was
Mm.
because I had a whole picture in my mind of like my kids are gonna grow up in California. They're gonna live the surfer girl life, and they're gonna have California tans, and I'm gonna show off. Cause like, bro, like coming from where I come from, to be from Cal or to live in California sounds like you're like you made it. Like I
Yeah,
remember going back
yeah,
home at times and people like, man, Will, you in California, man? And they thought that was like I made it. So for me,
yeah.
it almost, funny enough, it almost felt like a status symbol to say I was in
Mm,
California, and that was
mm,
honestly, God kind of humbled me, man, in a lot of ways. Like God showed me, like, look, man, like I called you to this season, but like, don't get it twisted, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm still in control. So, anyway, moving to Atlanta and knowing that I would have to start over and like, maybe not with work, but like start over with like building relationships and building like
yeah,
a community. Like, I felt like I had a community somewhat, right? Meeting you, we talk about all the guys that we've all been connected with, Matt,
yeah.
like all these folks that we've crossed paths with. But man, I tell you this, man, coming here has been like the the best blessing, man, that I've had, bro, because
Mm,
not only have I found community, I've also found like a renewed purpose for what God wants in my life. And I think it's because
mm,
I was able to give up on something that I thought was for me, and he replaced it with what he did have for me. And like, bro, I've never lived anywhere where it felt like things just kept happening. Like it's like one thing after
mm,
another, one thing after another,
yeah,
one thing after another, and that's when you in alignment with God. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah.
he's flexing what he can do without a doubt when you in alignment. So sorry, man, but again, this is
No,
therapy
I
to be
love
able to
it.
talk about this, man.
Nah, bro. No, this was here for, bro. Because like I said, your story, is gonna inspire others and help others, and that's just dope too. And what comes to mind too, bro, when you're sharing that too, is the fact that you was okay being uncomfortable,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Um, I feel like that's a big thing. And when I say okay, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I love it that we gotta move, right? But just more so, okay, I'm gonna put my ego to the side. I'm gonna put what I think is best, right? Because so many times we get so caught up in, no, we're gonna do this, even though it might not make sense, right? You could have just said, no, I'm gonna stay in Cali. I don't
yeah,
care, wifey. I know what you're saying. No, you know what? We gonna make it work because at the end of the day, this is Cali. I made it. Like the status is
exactly.
there, my family's looking at me. They might look at me different because I moved to Georgia. I'm supposed to, yeah, you know what? Even if we are, I'm not saying this is his situation, y'all. I'm just making this up. We are in a two-bedroom apartment paying 2,800 a month. But you know what? It's okay because I'm in California, right?
Yeah.
Except, hey, no, I
Yeah.
could be in Georgia, have a 4-bedroom house, pay basically the same amount for a whole house, right?
Yep.
So, um,
That's so
so the
true.
fact that you was able to really be okay with that, I think it is big too. Because as men, let's be honest, we could be prideful, right? We could
Yeah.
be, oh no, I'm not gonna do this. No, you know what? Is good right here. Why am I gonna shake it up? It's just good right here, right?
Exactly.
And it can be scary, especially with a move. I understand because I did a move, right? So it can be scary because there's a lot of unknowns.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to point that out, bro. I think that's dope. The fact that you was able to get out your comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. It's always good, man. I think someone told me this. It's always comforting to know that in the moments where you feel the most uncomfortable, that if you know that you are making a move that was again in alignment with what you believe God was calling you to do, that feeling of uncomfortability does not last. Like
Mm,
anything that involves like growth, it actually feels uncomfortable. Like, from someone that grows from 4 feet tall to 5 feet, it's great when they get to 5 feet, but their legs actually hurt, like as their body is like actually growing, like
yeah.
a mother that's producing a baby, um, she goes
Mm,
through like these cycles where she's like, it hurts, and like even when the baby is
yeah.
birthed, like, like it's pain, but once it's done, it's like, whew, this is the blessing. So like knowing that like God strategically, like with normal growth, right? God strategically said that it is going to feel uncomfortable. So lean into it, because on the other side there is comfort that exists there as well. Um,
Mm.
that just makes it so much easier, man, for me to make like what some people consider to be like absolutely wild moves. I'm like, I know what God can do, so I'm gonna make that move.
That's real, bro. That's real. I love it, man. Um, I want to ask you this one last question. I ain't gonna hold you up too long.
Hmm.
Um, So for like you said, you being able to pivot and make those adjustments and understand and it's so key that you've been able to be able to lean into your faith, right?
Yes.
Um, to help you with those decisions.
Hmm.
So what would you just to go back to the identity thing? What would you say to encourage someone that again they're more so focused on this is my identity, this is who I am. What would you encourage them with so they can maybe get out of that mindset and understand, hey, it's because right we get in this place, bro, where and there's nothing wrong with it, but we get in this place where everyone has to have a business.
Right.
Everyone has to start this up. Everyone has to be entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And not being okay, hey, you know what, a 9 to 5 is great. Hey, you
Yep.
know what? You have a home, you have a roof over your head, your kids love you, you have a
Yeah.
beautiful family, right? Like that is good enough. But we sometimes get in this place where I feel like, oh, if you don't have this business or if you don't have this quote unquote status, right, you're failing, right?
Yeah.
And we get so caught up in just being able to get that or trying to get this thing that's obtainable and that's not maybe in line with what God has for you or for those that don't believe in God, what is in
Right.
store for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um what would you say, I guess, just to encourage someone that's battling with that?
Yeah. Man, that's such a great question. So, I would first say whatever it is that you feel like your identity is in, like test it, put it up against a test, right? So ask yourself, like, if someone was to try to come take this identity away from you, would you fight for it? Number one. If your answer is no, we have a lot more to talk about, right? Because you're
Yeah.
maintaining, you're holding on to something that you truly don't care about, right?
Mm,
I'll just start there, right? Again, if
yeah.
someone was to take it away, would you fight for it? Assuming that you would, right? Um, the next question is, have you submitted it to, again, if you believe in God, Have you submitted it to God? Have you asked God, hey, is this the identity that you have for my life? Is this what you want me to be, right?
Yeah.
And kind of wait for God to answer that question. But as you wait, also ask yourself, if God says, no, I want you to be something different, will you try to keep whatever it is that you're trying to hold on to, right? Like, are you trying to
Mm.
keep that image? Because that could also be a clear reason why God might want to take it away from you, right?
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I
Yeah.
know it sounds like these thoughts can be, like, be confusing to people because it's like, okay, on one side, I want to trust what God is telling me to do. On the other side, if He wants to take away from me, but I believe that this is what He called me to do, why would He take it away from me? It's like, I get it, right? Like, I get it,
Yeah.
but it's also like, are you willing? The biggest question: are you willing to pivot when the time comes, when it's necessary
Mm.
for you to pivot? Because, bro,
Yeah.
I know so many people, man, that are still doing the things that they've been doing for 10, 15, 20 years for no other reason than comfort. That's it, right? Like,
Mm.
if you ask them, do they enjoy it? No, I don't enjoy it at all. Okay, why are you doing it? All right, cool, whatever. Uh, is this something that you feel like God called you to do? No, I don't. I don't know if He called me to do it. Okay, cool. Well, why are you doing it? You start asking these questions, and it all goes back to comfort. I feel
Yeah.
comfortable here, and I'm unwilling to move somewhere else because I know it's going to be uncomfortable. Bro, I
Mm.
just tell whoever it is that might be in that little bubble, that little situation, to just test the waters. Test the waters. Like, you have nothing to lose, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you're comfortable in right now, like when I moved from where I moved to LA, I knew in the back of my mind if I had to go back, I could go back, right? You
Yeah.
have nothing to lose. Like, try it out. Try whatever it is that you've been, had a fire to do for all your life. Try it out, man, because you only getting older. You only getting older.
Oh.
But more importantly, there might be something that's waiting on you to arrive, and that could impact generations to come as well.
Mm. No, that's a mic drop, brother. I love that, bro. I love it, man. Is there anything? Because I tell people all the time, man. I know you said like even if you plug it in your wife, I know you said she's doing her thing, but where they can maybe follow you or your journey and the stuff you got going on, bro. If you got anything you want to plug in, man, social media wise, whatever, let the people know.
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say appreciate you, man, for allowing me to be on this platform. It's been again an absolute pleasure. Um, Man, y'all keep me accountable. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Will. I said Twitter. Wow, X. I think it's called now X.
Excellent,
Um,
yeah, it's excellent.
yeah, and TikTok. All the social medias at Will underscore Inspire. That's Will underscore INSPIRE. Again, man, I wanna I wanna post the content that matters. I wanna post the content that inspires. And keep me accountable. If I'm not doing it, hit me up. Will, you ain't posted in a while, bro. What's what's going on?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but no, I just wanna plug all the fathers, man. I think it's fitting. I want to plug all the fathers that are out here being an example,
yeah,
for those that are going to be fathers one day, for fathers that have maybe become a father or became a father in a season where they probably was not necessarily ready to be a father, right? There's a
yeah,
lot of people that are fathers that may not necessarily qualify to be one. Whole nother
yeah,
conversation. So
yeah,
I want to throw out and shout out the fathers that are doing it the right way, and that's you, man. You are absolutely doing it the right way, man. I can't believe that your daughter is the age that you told me she is. Like,
yeah.
like, bro, like, from one father to another, you inspire me, man. I love you, bro,
Appreciate that.
and we got
Appreciate
to
it.
stay in this together, man.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely, definitely, man. I definitely, I hopefully we'll have you on again, man, for another one. And shoot,
Please.
as this thing continues to grow, man. Hopefully, I touch down in Georgia, have some events or something like that, man. Definitely, You know what I mean? That's down the line. But yeah, bro, I definitely appreciate you. Appreciate your time, for sure, bro. Um,
Absolutely.
and yeah, everybody, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell a friend. And like always, guys, remember, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. We'll see you on the next one.